346 dreamers paid £10,000 for a chance to become a main event champion. 9 survived to make the final table. 4 are left. And 1 has half the chips on the table. With a commanding lead and courage that defies his 24 years, Ronald Lee has been nothing short of dominant.
My God.
Now on foreign soil, this New York native will try to finish off 3 Europeans. Will this be the defining moment of his young career, or will the bracelet slip from his grasp? Time to make this dream a reality.
Helmuth wins the championship.
A look from high above the beautiful Thames River. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to London for the conclusion of the World Series of Poker Europe main event final table. I'm Lon McCarron, along with Norman Chad and Natalie Pinkham, and just 4 players are left. Brooklyn-born Ronald Lee.
He's a kid with a dream.
Italian pro Fabrizio Baldassari.
I think he's trying to fold his way to a bracelet.
And local hero James Board.
Hometown boy makes good. If he wins, he can buy a shirt.
Bracelet winner Roland DeWolf.
He's my pick to win it all, which means he is in trouble.
This main event bracelet and over 830,000 British pounds will go to tonight's champion. Of the 346 entrants, these 4 remain. And so far, this final table has been the Ronald Lee torture chamber as he's scored all 5 eliminations to this point. Action on James Board, ace-9 suited.
The locals would love to see Board or Roland DeWolf take down the title on home soil.
Board lives just about 13 miles up the A5 in Stanmore, England. He raised to 125,000. Ronald Lee with ace-7 off.
Lee's online screen name is ScarJoe, but I just call him 3-Bet. Lee has been the scourge of this final table. He's also the guy who knocked out Phil Ivey.
He's got half the chips in play, and he re-raises, as we have seen him do so often, to 335,000. Baldassari lays it down. So back to Board now. And Board with a bigger ace lays it down to the bigger stack.
Board yields to the pressure of the unassuming monster. Actually, if either one of these guys wins, Lon, he should buy the other a new button-down shirt.
The prize money and the main event bracelet sit tantalizingly close to this final table. The blinds at 25 and 50,000, a 5,000 chip ante. Action on Roland DeWolf. Roland, the short stack at the table, will fold. Baldassari in second place right now lays it down to Board with king-8 off. In the small blind, he calls for 25,000. 4 tray for Lee.
Look at him. 4 tray. Why not? Lee figures I'll keep pressuring them till they play back at me.
He does sense weakness and raises to 150,000. And Board has to fold the weak king. And Ronald Lee, just another hand at the office.
Somebody should revoke the kid's passport. He's a poker terrorist.
With just 4 players left, the chip stacks range from DeWolf's short stack of just $500,000 to Lee's $5.7 million.
And Ronald Lee started this final table with $1.9 million. He's been on an extended heater.
James Board will be under the gun with $1.7 million in his stack. He has king-5. Into the muck now. Ronald Lee, 9 deuce of spades, and he won't play that. Roland DeWolf moves all in with king-queen for his last 485.
Time is now for Roland DeWolf down to 10 big blinds.
Baldassari with an ace, ace-8. And he makes the call and assumes the Ronald Lee executioner role to try to put DeWolf on the rail.
But somebody else at this table can knock out a player?
Well, not yet. But Baldassari will try.
Baldassari won't watch. DeWolf can stand the pain.
All right, here is the flop. It is tray ace-8. Baldassari flops aces up to put Roland DeWolf in the deepest of holes.
Roland decided he has seen enough.
2 of hearts, please.
DeWolf starts preparing his estate.
Roland DeWolf needing help immediately. Turn card
first.
is the
Yeah.
deuce, and that will end it. He's drawing dead. Roland DeWolf out in 4th place. No victory for this local hero.
The only bracelet winner at this final table makes his exit.
And Fabrizio's girlfriend, Alessandra, gives him a little congratulations. DeWolf will collect almost 279,000 pounds. He does not need to exchange it. He lives right here in London.
And three-handed now. I think Fabrizio is going to have to get a little more active at this table if he wants to keep a smile on Alessandra's face.
Let's take a look at the FullTiltPoker.net tournament ticker. The remaining 3 players going for the bracelet and a lot of cash. First prize over 830,000 pounds. That's worth over $1.2 million. The next player out will win almost 377,000 pounds, roughly $581,000. Action will begin on James' board on the button. 10-7. He'll lay it down to the chip leader, Ronald Lee. Trey Deuce.
Trey Deuce off is only about a 2-to-1 underdog against a random hand, and this is Trey Deuce suited.
And he raises to 140,000. Baldessari with 5 Trey. He's got Lee dominated. But Baldessari will fold it.
The Trey Deuce is a favorite now. He's a quiet, violent man.
He's over $6 million now. He may not be the most dynamic player at this table, but his aggressive style has yielded nearly perfect results.
I'm really aggressive, so that's my game. We used to play like little home games in college. Then we started playing online. Went broke a few times, but eventually I got it. I don't get too up and down anymore, even whether I win or lose. But if I win this, I'll be really happy.
Ronald Lee is the textbook example of a young whippersnapper. He's got a lot of snap in his whip.
We've seen him raise with a wide range of hands, and he's been successful at that. Here he's got a real hand.
Well, his body language is the same whether it's ace-king or Trey Deuce.
He raises to 105,000. Baldessari with 6-4 of hearts.
Baldessari might be thinking, okay, it's time for someone to put a stop to this. However, now would not be the time.
Baldessari plays back at Lee, a re-raise to 275. Board with a weak ace.
Board, who's been getting coaching from his friend Sam Trickett, has been playing it pretty close to the vest.
And he'll sit this one out. So the re-raise back to Lee.
And why wouldn't Lee 4-bet it here? He's postured so often, Baldessari might figure he's posturing again.
That's the beauty of the hyper-aggressive player. And Lee not going anywhere. A re-raise to 580. Baldessari with 6-4 of
The
hearts.
Italian contingent says, Andiamo, they want Fabrizio to push.
I have to go?
Baldessari should not be seeking help from the gallery.
How do you say exit in Italian?
Well, if he does play this one, he might be seeking divine intervention.
Yeah, he will lay it down once again to Lee, and he hates to do so.
Ronald Lee getting a workout, dragging in pots.
Lee shows no signs of letting up. The other two will have to step it up or settle for being a footnote of this final table.
The 2010 World Series of Poker Europe is brought to you in part by WSOPAcademy.com. Learn online from the champs in an interactive poker school. And PokerStars.net, the world's largest poker site.
Welcome back to London and the Casino at the Empire for the World Series of Poker Europe main event. This final table currently featuring lead actor Ronald Lee, stacked at nearly 6.5 million chips, with supporting roles from Fabrizio Baldessari and James Board. Board on the short stack with only 24 big blinds. What an uphill climb for these other two. Baldessari.
One of his poker goals is to win $1 million in cash games. He says he's almost there.
10-9, and he will not play. Board now. Short stacked.
I'm all in.
And with ace Trey, he's all in for $1,240,000. King Queen for Ronald Lee.
How much?
Well, it would be for about 20% of Ronald Lee's stack. You might figure his King Queen is behind, but he might be in a race, and if he could knock out Board, Lee would be heads up with a 3-to-1 chip lead against Baldessari.
Plus, at this point, he must be feeling bulletproof, Norman. He is running good.
I'll call.
And Lee makes the call to put Board at risk. And we might be 5 cards from heads up if Ronald Lee can keep running the way he has been.
They're chanting for a wheel. 2-4-5. Never heard that before.
Board's mates have his back. Here's the flop. 8-4-10. He survives the flop.
That's not 2-4-5, but 8-4-10 works for James Board.
Baldessari with a stake in this. He'll be heads up if Board gets knocked out. Ronald Lee trying to improve and get heads up. Turn card is a 5, and there's Board's wheel draw. His ace high is still good.
They still want to see 2-4-5, but Board doesn't need the wheel. He just needs to avoid a king or a queen.
The river card is a 10, and Board will double up.
The British Empire ain't what it once was, but this feels pretty darn good.
And that ace will keep Board at the table. We are still three-handed. Even with that double up, James Board is still the short stack here. So James Board's impressive run will continue, something even he would admit is surprising, given his relative inexperience in tournaments.
I'm a dedicated poker player, but I've never been interested in tournaments or never had the time or maybe the concentration levels to win. I did blow up on day 2 here, and I stuck 3/4 of my stack in the pot with 9 high. After that hand, I said to myself, I'll never blow up again. And I got my stack back, and I said, that's it. From now on, I'm just going to play, and if I get unlucky, I get unlucky, but I'm not going to be stupid about things. It's very nice to be in London, because I very rarely play here. It's very nice to have all the boys around me. It's just a special moment, you know. It's the main event in London. It's my hometown. This is where I was born. You know, I've grown up on the poker scene here, and and it's just a beautiful experience.
2 Brits have won World Series Europe bracelets, J.P. Kelly and Scott Shelley, but an Englishman has not won the main event here yet.
A little more expensive to play now, three-handed. The blinds at 30 and 60,000 with a 10,000 chip ante. Baldessari with King Deuce.
Born in Rome, now lives in Monte Carlo. That beats me. I was brought up in Maryland, now live under the bridge.
He raised it to 130,000. Board folded. Lee now with 7-6 off.
Let's see if Lee is in his usual violent pre-flop mood.
He has handled Baldessari very well tonight, but he just calls here.
A momentary lapse of aggression from Lee.
I'm sure Ronald Lee has something up his sleeve. All right, here's the flop. Tray 7-10. Lee out flops Baldessari by pairing his 7. Lee checks. Baldessari checks. Turn card is a 5 of spades. Lee adds a straight draw. Now reaching for chips.
Indeed, Ronald Lee has waited long enough to do what he does best. Pounce!
Lee bets 175,000.
That should end the hand, but I'll say this, eventually, somebody's got to play back at this guy. This ain't the moment with king high and no draw, but someone's got to muscle up to Ronald Lee.
Baldessari will take on that mantle and make the call.
I guess he's calling to bluff the river. I hope he's wearing a life preserver.
All right, here comes the river. Baldessari looking for something he can work with. And that will do it. Ronald Lee Rivers trips 7s.
Do you know how many more cards would have to come out for Baldessari to have the best hand? I think the whole deck.
A 325,000 chip bet from Ronald Lee.
Does Baldessari still want to make a play at it? He can't seem to get a read on Lee.
Wow, Baldessari quickly reaching for his stack. With king high.
Raise.
He says raise. Bad timing on that bluff. He makes it 800,000.
That raise is as phony as a $3 bill. And what's worse for Baldessari, Lee's got a huge hand.
Baldessari trying to look confident. But it doesn't matter. Ronald Lee has trips.
All in.
And he raises Baldessari all in.
The Italian will take a moment to think about his girlfriend and then fold as quietly as possible.
Fabrizio lays it down and will ship more chips to Ronald Lee.
Look at Lee. That's a raucous celebration.
Not much going right for the Italian at this final table while